Was it simply human error, or did the mountain hide them? I'm Kim, and this is Hung Channel.
We trust maps, compasses, and technology to guide us through the wilderness. But what if the mountain itself refuses to let us live? In Sai Kung, people have vanished, search teams have found nothing, and survivors have described paths that seem to change around them. Some call it getting lost, others call it the Sai Kung Barrier. Chapter 1: The Boundary Drawn by Nature. We have always believed that humanity can control nature. We build cities, divert rivers, cultivate mountain ranges, and use compasses and maps to divide the world into one coordinate after another. But have we ever considered that nature has never belonged to us? It has merely been tolerating us. When the beasts disappear, when the forests die, when the oceans grow warmer, the entire world will collapse. Every seemingly insignificant change is nature calling out to us, yet some places use another way to tell us that we are not welcome. In these places, directions become lost, time falls into disorder, technology betrays us, and even our minds begin to fail. Through this strange phenomena, nature seems to reveal that we have already entered a realm that does not belong to humanity. People call such a place a barrier. In East Asian tradition, a barrier was originally a forbidden area marked out through ritual, separating the mortal world from contact with the spirit realm. But in Sai Kung, Hong Kong, it began with a real disappearance and gradually became one of the most chilling urban legends in the city. In daylight, Sai Kung appears more open and safer than almost anywhere else. But once you leave the main trail, the ridges, dense forests, and valleys begin to cut off the sounds of the city layer by layer. You think you have merely turned a corner, only to look back and discover that the path you came from has vanished. Chapter 2: Ting Lei-wah vanished from the world after 7 minutes. On Sunday, 11th September 2005, the weather was humid and Sai Kung Country Park was still filled with visitors. That morning, Ting Lei-wah, a 45-year-old off-duty detective from the Organized Crime and Triad Bureau, entered the mountain alone from Patam Chung with a backpack on his shoulders. He had undergone years of discipline training and was an officer with extensive experience. Shortly after midday, the police received an emergency call from him. He said he was lost but could not explain his location. He repeatedly gave the numbers: Sai Kung 586, 487-040, 487-020, 587 something, and 024. The operator asked whether he could see any distance post, road sign, or landmark. At first, he said the numbers were written on a post, but later changed his answer. They're not numbers on the post, they're codes. The call lasted approximately 7 minutes. Ting Lei-wah paused repeatedly, gave confused answers, and said that he couldn't take it anymore. Finally, his trembling voice cried, "Help me," again and again before the signal was cut off. The police, fire services department, civil aid service, government flying service, and civilian hikers later launched a massive search operation involving more than 2,000 personnel deployments. Helicopters flew low over the mountains, while search dogs moved through the valleys. Yet, they found no body, clothing, or equipment, not even a single footprint that could be confirmed as his. Years later, a veteran firefighter who took part in the operation still described it as the only mountain disappearance in his career in which the missing person was never found. Ting Lei-wah remains officially missing to this day. Chapter 3 Yuen Chi-yung, 10 meters beyond the search line. Around 3 weeks later, another disappearance was reported in Sai Kung. 23-year-old Yuen Chi-yung was a civil servant, a former auxiliary police officer, and an experienced scout leader. On 2nd October 2005, he accompanied 4 female team members on an outdoor assessment in Sai Kung. Their planned route ran from Cheung Shan through Shek Uk Shan, Snake Rock Pass, Nam Shan Tung, and Pak Shao before reaching Hoi Ha. During the journey, Yuen Chi-yung began feeling unwell and had also taken cold medicine. He told the team members to continue ahead while he rested for a while, but he never caught up with them. When the students reached the next point, they turned back to search for him and shouted his name. The forest answered only with the sound of the wind. The police immediately launched a search. 2 days later, his body was found on a densely wooded slope north of Lo Fu Kei Shack. The coroner's court later ruled that he had accidentally fallen down the slope while attempting to find a road. Urban legends, however, do not end with the words written in the court ruling. A widely circulated account later claimed that the location of Yuen Chi-yung's body was only around 10 meters beyond the area searched on the first day, when even police dogs had been deployed. Why has someone so close remained undiscovered for 2 full days? Some said the dense forest and steep terrain had hidden him from view. Others believed that the body had not originally been there at all. Ting Lei-wah had vanished, and Yuen Chi-yung had been found dead. After 2 incidents occurred in the same mountain wilderness, the legend of the Sai Kung Barrier truly began to take shape. Chapter 4 Cheung Sin-pang, the man who walked out of the barrier. 11 years later, on the 18th of June, 2016, hiker Cheung Sin-pang set out alone from Pak Tam Chuang. His planned route would take him through Tai Cham Koi, Tai Mun Shan, and Lam Shi Tsim before reaching Pak Tam Ao. Some circulating articles claimed that he had once been a representative volleyball player. What can be confirmed is that he loved hiking and was physically fit. Shortly after 10 in the morning, he wrote online that the sky looked as though it was about to rain. Thunder immediately sounded across the area, and he left 2 more words, so eerie. Afterward, he lost consciousness inside a patch of bushes, and awoke only after night had fallen. His wife called to ask where he was, and he promised to descend the mountain immediately. But while moving through the darkness, he lost his phone, wallet, and torch. Although he could clearly see the village's lights of Ham Tin Wan, the farther he walked, the farther away they seemed, until he eventually fell into a valley. For 4 days and 3 nights, he survived by drinking water from a stream and ate almost nothing. He said he repeatedly found himself returning to the same pool. He saw a familiar fellow hiker standing ahead, but whenever he tried to catch up, the figure suddenly disappeared. Behind the trees, a 2- or 3-story red brick building appeared. Yet, when he approached it, only trees remained. After waking from sleep, he found that the waterfall had changed the direction. His cigarettes, lighter, and hiking pole vanished without explanation. Voices of conversation, arguments, and television programs came from the rocks around him, as though an entire household lived inside every stone. It was not until the fourth day, after following a stream to Fourfold Pool, that he finally encountered real hikers. He borrowed a phone to report that he was safe and was eventually found by the police at Ham Tin Wan. Chapter 5. When Disappearances become an urban legend. The three incidents became layered together. Ting Lei-wah had vanished completely. Yuen Chi-yung had been right before their eyes, while Cheung Sin-pang had returned alive. Together with the scattered cases of people becoming lost, trapped, or injured over the years, these incidents were gradually connected into a single narrative. The Sai Kung Barrier was no longer merely a rumor. It had become a complete urban legend. Some believe the area is an entrance to the spirit realm, and that once someone crosses an invisible line, the familiar mountain trail is replaced by another dimension. Others interpret the mysterious numbers reported by Ting Lei-wah as coordinates belonging to another world. Reports have also cited metaphysical claims that patrolling police officers once spent an entire night circling the same tree and did not find their way out until sunrise. Supernatural television programs, novels, and explorers continued to fuel the legend, coating Slake Rock Pass, Tai Mun Shan, and the surrounding valleys in an increasingly unnatural atmosphere. Online rumors also claim that magnetic ore lies beneath Sai Kung, powerful enough to interfere with electronic devices, compasses, and even human brainwaves. However, official geological information confirmed only that ancient volcanic rock is widely distributed across Sai Kung. There is no reliable scientific evidence proving the existence of an abnormal magnetic field capable of causing hallucinations. Rather than science, this theory may be an urban legend dressed in scientific clothing. Yet precisely because the truth and falsehood are so difficult to separate, it becomes even more unsettling than an ordinary ghost story. Chapter 6. Beyond the Barrier lies another lost road. Rational explanations do exist. Sai Kung is filled with branching paths, valleys that block the view, and woodland trails that look almost identical. When a person becomes exhausted, dehydrated, or injured, their sense of direction can deteriorate rapidly. Mobile signals are unstable inside the valleys, while GPS may sometimes fail, interrupting maps, location sharing, and emergency communication. The most dangerous factor is panic. When someone becomes lost and remembers all the stories they have heard, the mind can transform sounds, shadows, and familiar scenery into terrifying hallucinations. Yet, more than 20 years have passed, and Ting Lei-wah has still never appeared. No body or equipment has been found. There is not a single trace, and there is no ending. This emptiness is the most fertile ground upon which fear can grow. Does a barrier truly exist in Sai Kung? Perhaps it does, though it may not be an entrance to the spirit realm. It may be the moment when terrain, weather, equipment, experience, and psychology collapse together, pushing a person into the unknown. Fact and legend are two roads that occasionally cross. Which one you believe depends on what your heart is searching for. But Sai Kung is not Hong Kong's only lost place. In the northeastern New Territories stands an abandoned Hakka village. Folklore claims that compasses become locked there, Time is distorted, and the villagers vanished overnight, leaving behind only ruined houses and faded red couplets. That place is So Lopun village. One day, we may enter the darkness of that village and discover what secrets it has hidden.
I'm Kim. Please subscribe, like, and share. And stay with me. You will never face the dark unknown.